Welcome to Ministers Talking a weekly program where Rev Briz and Rev Z and their guests chat about current affairs, world events, spiritual principles, and any old they want to talk about. Based on the New Thought philosophy and ancient wisdoms, Ministers Talking shares a visionary perspective of the evolving spiral called spiritual living. Join us each week as we explore the emerging paradigm of life on planet Earth and beyond.
And good morning, dear ones. Dr. Robert here behind the placard. There I am. Good morning. Welcome to Ministers Talking Shit. It's late February. It's the 27th of February, and Rev Z is off traveling today. My apologies that I neglected to schedule a co-host, a guest, to be with me. So this is one of those days where you get me, and that means I want to rely on you to drop a comment, say hello, let it be known that where you are, join the conversation, give me something to talk about. I mean, I have plenty to talk about, but I want to know what you'd like to have me talk about this morning. Because, there's tons of stuff happening in the news and all kinds of implications for the future. And I've been having some fun, perhaps giving some people some reason to push their buttons this week. I'll start with one of my favorite topics. For those that might be concerned, Mercury retrograde is not real. It's an illusion. It's got nothing. There's no reality to it whatsoever. You can head over to my Substack page and check out. I have an article from last year when one of these happens, and you're welcome to check that out. And I'll see if I can find the link as I'm talking here with you this morning. Yeah, here it is. Debunking the myth of Mercury retrograde. Here's the thing. The planet does not move backwards at all. There we go. Dropping it in the comment box right now so you all can go take a look at that if you want. Mercury retrograde is not real. It's an illusion. It's just a trick. It's just an illusion. So please stop blaming a planet if you're unable to communicate. I didn't do my job. I can't, you get me today, not because Mercury is in retrograde, but because I didn't do my job. I didn't find a co-host for this morning. So, the planet doesn't move backwards. It appears to move backwards. But that's got nothing to do with the planet. The planet is still moving in the same direction. It's still exerting some amount of gravity on the United States, on the planet, on planet Earth. It's still in the same relationship. Nothing's changed. It's an optical illusion. Don't believe it. If I were you, I would also not believe a lot of things that are going on these days. In an incredibly brain-dead move, let's say, Colorado Representative Lauren Boebert was part of the deposition of Hillary Clinton yesterday in Chappaqua, New York. And good old Lauren leaks a photograph from inside the deposition room to a right-wing influencer. I don't know why we don't arrest these people when they do this shit. But I do know that this actually opens the door for the Clintons to demand more public hearings, more public deposition. and to answer questions in public. It's not lost on me that a woman was asked to explain crimes of a man that there's no real known association. Now, I guess Ghislaine Maxwell was at Hillary daughter's wedding, although it's been said that she was not an invited guest, but a plus one. She was somebody's plus one, and Ghislaine was there. No, as far as I know, there's no pictures of no verifiable pictures of Hillary and Epstein together at any event. Former President Bill Clinton will spend his day today in Chappaqua answering questions of that same closed door deposition. Maybe we can get Lauren Boebert to live stream it. That would be fun. Hey, Lauren, if you're listening, live stream today's deposition, would you? How much fun would that be? I think the current administration is running scared because they're deposing Hillary Clinton, who has arguably very little information on all of this, when they could be deposing Melania Trump, who has much more information on the Epstein affairs, on what maybe happened or maybe didn't happen. We have more verifiable photos of Melania in the company of Ghislaine Maxwell and underage girls than we ever did of the Clintons. Now, Bill does have a little bit more to answer for. There are some pictures of him in a pool. We know that Bill used Epstein's plane. Primarily, it's been reported for humanitarian work. However, and there's no evidence that Bill ever visited Little St. James Island. There's very little evidence that former President Clinton in any way acted inappropriately with Epstein. Now, former President Clinton's past behaviors in the White House lead to a lot of speculation, leave the door open for a lot of accusations. But I'm really interested to hear what former President Clinton's going to have to say today in Chappaqua. Hillary made a great statement yesterday when before her deposition that she had no knowledge of Epstein's dealings, criminal activities. He was a financier. He did run in big money circles. He did like to connect people. It would appear he did like to blackmail people. And new pictures emerged from the files yesterday that show Epstein not only on his island, but in the company of the current Treasury, Labor Secretary Lutnick. He's secretary of something. I lose track of which criminal is in which seat inside the Donald Trump administration because Lutnick appears dirty as all get out. And, that dirt lands in a lot of places. We've been talking here on New Thought Media Network and around the spiritual world here for a couple weeks now about the Deepak Chopra revelations. And Deepak has not yet made any formal public statements to the public. He did send an email to his email list, which unfortunately I'm not a part of, or fortunately I'm not a part of. And I read parts of it, mostly dodging the accusations, turning it around, not taking any real responsibilities. But it's an interesting time in the world of spirit, in the spiritual world right now. A lot of people, using frames, using statements like "let's not throw out the baby with the bathwater." I've been writing about this on my Substack and making comments in private threads, in private communications with others, that throwing the baby out with the bathwater implies that there was no harm. It would appear from not only the Epstein files, but other reputable accusations made over the years that Epstein caused harm. He was not counseling Epstein, that Deepak caused harm. He was not counseling Epstein. The emails are cryptic but we haven't even seen all of them. There's over 3,000 mentions. But it would very much appear he caused harm. So not throwing the baby out with the bathwater implies that there was no harm done. When there is harm done, then we must eliminate the cancer. Centers for Spiritual Living made a statement this past week condemning Deepak Chopra and vowing to remove his materials from all of their classes and such, urging all of their affiliated communities to do the same. I've also had people say, in regard to Deepak, he who is without sin cast the first stone, or however that phrase goes, which to me is just spiritual bypass in a royal form. That to me implies look the other way. Don't hold anybody accountable. Don't ask for accountability. And I've said this. You're welcome to chat along and let me know how you feel about all this. Good morning, Linda. Good to see you, dear one. Grateful you're with us. Thanks for being a part of what we're doing here. If Deepak came out and said, "Hey, I get it. This looks bad. And there are other women in my past that have said, I've done things." And if Deepak would take some level of responsibility for his actions, if he would say, "I made a mistake," if he would say, I fell into my humanness and my feet are made of clay. If he would take ownership and responsibility for what's going on and seek forgiveness, ask for forgiveness, that's another story. It's a completely different story. I don't expect every human being to be absolutely enlightened. But unfortunately, Deepak built his entire business on him being better than everybody, him being more enlightened than everyone, him having more insight than everyone. Truth being, almost everything he wrote was borrowed from ancient wisdoms. Most of what I write is borrowed from ancient wisdoms. I try to put a new thought on it. I try to bring it into more modern day language. I try to equate what we're going through with historical precedents and ancient wisdoms and make it approachable for today's audiences. Nothing wrong with that. But let's not pretend the man came up with anything new. Not some special revelation. He, like many teachers across the spirituality and wellness industry, he used ancient wisdoms and brought them into a modern day language, and that didn't make him superior to anyone. But he fell into that ego trap of thinking he was special and he could get away with stuff and that he could say things. And if he would own that if he would take responsibility for that, seek forgiveness, and do some public work. Let us see you do some work. Yeah, great question, Linda. Linda says, I've been contemplating lately how, as a practicing New Thought person, how do I integrate forgiveness and compassion into action and positive thoughts? Exactly. I believe that Deepak is still part of the one. Still part of the one power, the one presence, the one infinite intelligence, the everything that we call God. He is not inherently bad. But it would appear he made some very bad decisions. It would appear that he made, that he misused the law, that he is guilty of malpractice. And as I was saying, if he would seek forgiveness and do some public good, do some work in public, let us see him doing his inner work to heal those beliefs in him that he was above everyone else and that he could get away with these things and that he could hobnob with known pedophiles. Remember, many of these emails by Deepak were after Jeffrey Epstein had been convicted and found guilty of soliciting sex from a minor. And to continue a relationship after that was a known fact. Deepak didn't listen to his own teachings. He thought he was above it all. So come on back down to earth. Quit hiding behind gaslit emails. Quit hiding behind your rhinestone fancy glasses there, Deepak. And do some real work. Let us see that. I look at this in the same light as a musician. I haven't talked about this extensively, but the musician Nako was made. Accusations were made of him in 2020 during the early stages of the Me Too movement. And in those accusations, he was accused of some things. One of those accusations involved an underage girl. And some of those accusations revolved around the fact that he was a shitty boyfriend, that he cheated on his girlfriend. Now, I'm not saying infidelity alone is enough to cancel someone, because many people throughout New Thought have engaged in infidelity, have cheated on their spouse, have found love in the arms of another. There's a difference between that and assault. There's a difference between that and being a predator. And Nako was canceled by the music industry, by many of his friends, or so-called friends, I guess, by many that he was aligned with in the music industry. Now, on deeper reflection, it turned out that the accusation by the underage girl was not entirely true. And there is since been proof that he had nothing really to do with her, that he came from backstage out in front of, from backstage out front, realized that she was underage and did not take her backstage. He has admitted, and in his time, he walked away from probably the height of his success at that point, and did a lot of inner work and let his fans see himself do that work. Wrote about it in songs, brought forward interviews, and let it be known that he was reaching out to make amends to the women that he had hurt. Over time, eventually doing that inner work with therapists and counselors and a number of different outlets, he let it be known what he was doing. He made his inner work as public as he could. And eventually married and had a child, and now talks about this in public interviews, extensive interviews, where he made mistakes. And he learned from those mistakes. And he denies any illegal activity unequivocally, that he never had any relations with girls, with someone underage, that he fell into the trappings of fame and musical fortune, and now lives a different life. Still creates great music, in my opinion. But he did his work, and he let it be seen. If Deepak does his work, lets it be seen, takes accountability for his past behaviors and actions, not just blowing it off like his recent email to his fan base, but actually does the work. Yes, every human's redeemable. Every human can be forgiven. But there has to be a desire, an effort to come into alignment with the truth, with the greater spiritual truth. We could say the same thing about our current president. We could say the same thing about Pam Bondi. We could say the same thing about Kristi Noem. We could say the same thing about Pete Hegseth and Kash Patel and Caroline Leavitt and this whole gaggle of politicians on the right and on the left. Not everybody. We could say the same for myself, for yourself. We make mistakes. We misuse the law. We fall into those ego traps that say, I can do this. I can get away with this. Nobody's going to know. But you know. Every time we break the law, every time we attempt to circumvent the law, every time that we try to override the law, every time that we let our ego lead the way, we know what we've done. Deepak knows what he's done. There are women that know what Deepak has done. I would imagine his wife knows what he's done. I would imagine his kids know what he's done to some degree. And now we know. We have evidence that someone that claimed to be enlightened was truly human. We talk about this in New Thought a lot, that we are here to bring the divine into the human form. And that itself implies we are both human and divine. When we let ourselves be the human more than the divine, these things happen. In other news, Netflix has decided that the price to pay for for Paramount and CBS for CNN and other media outlets was too high, And so they have backed out of the proposed merger. Paramount Skydance is now one step away from owning CBS and CNN. In a very bizarre twist of fate, CNN will soon be an outlet for right-wing propaganda, as the new owners, the Ellison family, are known MAGA aficionados or known MAGA influencers, have signaled that they would make sweeping changes at CNN given the chance. And our dear illustrious, I say that tongue in cheeks, and Trump has signaled that they would be his favorites. America is on the cusp, if not already, a technology oligarchy. All of the major tech outlets in the country now seem to be owned by about a half a dozen. Interestingly enough, about a half a dozen white guys own everything. We could say it's scary to be a small independent media outlet, although I'm not afraid. I think there is a great challenge before us, and I think we stand at the precipice of that challenge. I think we stand on the very green growing edge of that challenge. I think we are stepping into a second tier understanding and exploration of media, and how media can be a force for good rather than just a force for capitalism. Misguided, misused capitalism. I had not intended to say this, but here it is. Please support New Thought Media Network. Head on over to the donate page, make a contribution, make a pledge. Our friend Linda Plasters is with us here this morning, and your monthly tithe check, your monthly contribution check came in just yesterday, Linda. So thank you very much for that. No worries about timing or when it shows up. What matters is it shows up, and thank you. You've been a committed financial supporter of this network for a very long time now, and we appreciate that. For anyone else that's watching, perhaps today is your day to join us in that endeavor. You can head over. I'm sure I have a link in here somewhere. You can head over to New Thought Media Network, ntmedia.org/donate. And make a donation, make a monthly pledge, $5, $20, $50, $100, $500. Make a one-time gift. All your gifts are tax deductible, as we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And we're here to reshape the landscape of media, to be part of that, to be part of shaping the landscape so that media from a New Thought perspective can be influential, can be supportive. And not just through our prayer programming, not just through our talk shows and our interview shows, but what you're going to see here on New Thought Media Network is we're making an effort to be a bit more journalistic in what we do. Now, I don't have a journalism degree, and I'm not going back to school to get one. But we do want to help you to make sense of what's going on in the world through a New Thought lens. And some have accused this program of being nothing more than bitching about what's going on and whining and crying about what's going on. And what I trust we are doing truly is providing a New Thought perspective on the events and the issues of our day. There's a lot going on in the world. We are on the precipice of war on multiple fronts. And wouldn't you know it, how interesting it is that Russia is is telling India and Pakistan to be less aggressive and not go to war while they still wage war against the Ukraine. It is that kind of hypocrisy that I want us to draw a light upon. I want us to shine a light into the conflicts between Israel and what's happening in Gaza. Free Palestine, by the way. If there's any question about it, F you to Israel and free Palestine. Netanyahu is misusing the principles of universal co-creation, or is misusing the law. Putin is misusing the law. Trump is misusing the law. The creative law that everyone has access to. And we've been told for decades that the arc of the universe, the moral arc of the universe, bends towards the good. Well, I think it's time to shout from the rooftops where there are those that are trying to bend it towards the not so good. To shout out at those that are bending the moral arc of humanity towards separation and division, that are trying to bend the moral arc towards getting their me. It's all about me and what I can get. Rampant capitalism has done nothing to serve humanity. The days of the lone wolf are over. We must work collectively, cooperatively, as community, as a beloved community, to ensure that art continues to bend towards the good, to be in alignment. Been missing a couple comments here. Thank you, Leandra. I appreciate your appreciation. Linda says it matters. I feel in alignment when I financially contribute to what spiritually fills and stimulates me. Thank you, Linda. Terry Paul Choice, also a longtime contributor, Terry. Terry's got a program on our radio station and airs every Wednesday at 10 a.m. over on New Thought Radio. Thank you, Terry, for the compliment. And thank you for the contribution, both in content and financially. Terry is a longtime financial supporter as well. Leandra, I think your name might be on our I apologize that I don't remember everybody, but I think I've seen your name in the contributor roles too, in the report I get on who's contributing. So, and whether you've contributed once or contributed every month, every bit matters. Because when good people stop supporting good works, that opens the door for those that would bend the arc towards themselves. It gives them more leverage. The more that we stay engaged, the more that we stay involved, whether it's on Facebook or I spend a lot more time on Substack now these days. I don't spend much time on Facebook. I spend a lot of time over on Substack. It's a slower platform. It's a deeper, more thoughtful platform. We don't write in quips over there as much. We write in essay style. We write more thoughtful pieces. We take more time to consider how the events, how the experiences of our lives shape the future. And there's a lot of really good new thought writers over in Substack. And I encourage you to come join us over there. Just head to substack.com, do a search for New Thought Media Network, and you'll find us. Or you can do a search for The Work of Becoming, which is my private channel, where I write about more my journey, and from a more personal space. There is also New Thought Media Network has an official channel over there where we do more reporting on what's going on in the New Thought world, and how New Thought is an influence in what's happening in the world. So join us. Join this thing called New Thought, this movement. I know, all right, I'm preaching to the choir. If you're watching this, you're probably already joined New Thought. And I could say join New Thought Media Network, but again, if you're watching, you probably already have joined New Thought Media Network and Consciousness. And let us know how we best serve you. Let us know how you'd like to be a part of all of this. Perhaps you'd like to write an article for our Substack. Perhaps you'd like to appear on a program. Perhaps you'd like to help produce some of our programming. Perhaps you'd like to help write or schedule or design our newsletter. Perhaps you'd like to be a part of our tech team, or perhaps you'd just like to watch what we're doing. And even that is valid involvement, is necessary involvement. We do prayers here every day, Monday, every day, 7 days a week, 365, almost 6 years now of daily, twice a day, 8:15 a.m. and p.m. daily prayers. And we're starting to add a little bit of a twist to all of that. We're now calling that the New Thought Ministry of Prayer. And that is a great way to tap into to really get into the consciousness of New Thought. And the reason I bring that up is because when I get that opportunity to pray, when I'm on air with our New Thought Ministry of Prayer, I constantly remind folks that who you are, what you do, how you show up in the world is absolutely vital to the evolution of human consciousness. Who you are, what you do, how you show up, your unique way of being is absolutely vital to the evolution of human consciousness. So yes, sometimes we have to speak about the ugly monsters in the room. Sometimes we have to speak about the no good, rotten stuff that's going on, so that we are fully aware of what it is that we are here to do, to bring forth a world that works for all, to be the transformative consciousness that is creating a world that works for all. Join us. And join us throughout the day. Join us throughout the week. You know, we are going through some changes here at New Thought Media Network. We're streamlining some of our offerings. We're making a more concerted effort to be a more professional organization, and that means that some people are stepping away from the network, and some new people are coming onto the network. Starting next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Mountain Time, we have a new program coming on, Conversations in Mind, with Reverend Barbara Bew and Reverend Dr. Mark Gilbert, 4 p.m. on Tuesdays. New show coming on. Some of our other programmings you will see are slipping away. And not because anything's wrong or anything's bad, or so, because they've run their course or they've done their job, and it's time to leave that space open, leave those hours available for new creation. In those prayer times, I often talk about the fact that this thing we call God, the oneness of life, is a self-existent cause. and that oneness takes on form, and knowing it will abandon that form in order to create new form. And so you're going to see some shows going away over the next few weeks, and those spaces may remain fallow, may sit empty for a while until Spirit decides it's time for those spaces to be filled. Doesn't mean anything's wrong, doesn't mean anything's broken. It's just the natural flow of what's happening. This show will stay. This show is sticking around. We ain't going anywhere on this show. And again, I invite you to stay with us throughout the day today. Coming up in just a few hours, later this morning, it is prayer time is at 8:15. The morning sip with Rev Melissa is at 8:30. 9:30 is Viviendo de Oración, Living in Prayer. Our Spanish language prayer program happens at 9:30. 11 o'clock is Rev Skip and the High Vibe Hour. 1 o'clock, the Joy Show with Reverend Barbara Jean. The Good News is at 5. Reverend Michael's here at 6 with our weekly fireside chat. And of course, we'll do evening prayers at 8:15. So I invite you to stay engaged and stay with us here on the New Thought Media Network. I'm going to get out of here for now. I want to thank you all for being with us. I want to thank you for staying with us. And yes, I want to recognize that as well. Yes, Linda, I understand. And I'm going to send you some links, Linda, so that you can find those past programs, because all of our past programming, folk, lives on playlists on our YouTube channel. So you can head over to our YouTube channel, click on the playlist link. That'll show you all our playlists, and you can catch up on all past episodes of all of our programming. This show or any of our shows, they all live over on YouTube. And Linda, I'm going to send you some links to an email with some links to the YouTube playlist to make it real easy for you to go and find those old episodes and watch the reruns. There's a lot of good content out there, a lot of good shows we've done, meditations and other spiritual practices that are timeless. And you can click on them and watch them at any time that supports you to reinvigorate, re-empower, reimagine your practice. So, all right, I'm out of here for now. I love you. I think you're amazing. I look forward to being with you again real soon. But until then, I want to wish you peace and absolute richest blessings. Bye now.
And thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ministers Talking. We'll be back again next week with more commentary on current affairs, world events, and any other our ministers want to talk about. And if you found value here, please share our with your friends. Until next time, peace and blessings.